2024 Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame induction ceremony and reception. We're thrilled again this year to be at Locksville Distillery to welcome our 22nd class of inductees. As you've heard me say many times before, the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame is my favorite event of the year. It's the one time when we all get together and celebrate our successes, cheer bourbon's heroes, and toast those who have gone by. It's like a family reunion every year. That unity, that spirit of collaboration and camaraderie is a hallmark of our industry and the foundation of everything we do at the Kentucky Distillers Association. So thank you all for your continued support and leadership, and most of all, thank you all for your friendship. Not only does it make our job easier at the KDA, as you hear me say a lot, you're all stronger by working together, so thank you. After last year's beautiful and moving ceremony, we had several people ask how they could nominate somebody to the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. And that's really a good question because we actually have a change in the process this year. First, candidates are nominated each year by the KDA and our member distilleries. And then the Blue Ribbon Committee of renowned Hall of Fame members and bourbon luminaries review those applications and select the inductees. This year's selection committee includes all living recipients of the Carver Bean Lifetime Achievement Award, and those are Jimmy Russel, Bill Samuels Jr., Matt Shapira, and Evan Poulsbane, along with Jessica Dress, who's the chair of our board, Chris Morris from Brown Forman, who's the immediate past chair of the KDA board and governor of our Order of the Red Society. Thank you, Chris. Noted author and 2004 member of the Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame, Dixie Hibbs. Where's Dixie? There she is, Dixie. We love Dixie. I actually appointed Dixie in my place as KDA president because she's good keeping Max and Bill and all them in line. So if you know Dixie, you know that's true. So thank y'all. We are fortunate today to again welcome Governor Andy Beshear to address us, who 2 years ago became the first sitting governor in Kentucky to ever attend a Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame event. And you might remember last year when he spoke at this time, he was in the middle of a re-election campaign. And when he was walking away, he said, I look forward to being here again next year to be the third governor, the governor who's doing this for 3 years in a row, speaking to y'all. So, Governor, we hold to that promise, and we're so glad that you're here today, and you are a man of your word. A recipient of the KDA's prestigious 100 Group Award for elected officials, Governor Beshear has long been one of our industry's strongest supporters, and we dearly thank him for his years of leadership and strong support, particularly when it comes to issues like tariffs, taxes, and tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and give a warm welcome to the 63rd Governor of Kentucky, Andy Beshear.
As your governor, and look forward to getting together for the next 3.5 years as I serve out every single day of this next term. I'm happy to be back with that one person. I'm happy to be back at Locksville with Wally Dan and his entire family. Let's again thank Wally for hosting us. I've had the opportunity, like I have with so many of you, to be at a groundbreaking that's become a new facility that's expanded, and if you're Wally, expanded again, and expanded again, and expanded again. Where we are today is such a good representation of where this industry is growing with, going with growth after growth after growth. And every time that we're here at Locksville, there is a new attraction, a new reason to come, and a new way to welcome visitors. There's no better way to celebrate Bourbon Heritage Month than with the great folks at the Kentucky Distillers Association and at this Hall of Fame ceremony. I think about the KDA and their impact in this growing industry in terms of jobs and the economy, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I want to once again thank the KDA and all the members here for being our largest single donor to our rebuilding efforts after tornadoes hit the west and after flooding hit the east Thank you for being there for our Kentucky families. And I want to thank everyone and congratulate them at the KEA on its recent induction into the prestigious World Spirits Alliance. This industry is in good hands with the KEA representing Kentucky Bourbon at the important international trade organization. Congratulations to the KEA. And we're also here on a special anniversary, a 25th anniversary of what's becoming a crowning achievement not only for this industry, but for the Commonwealth. I'm talking, of course, about the 25th anniversary of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. More and more people are coming to see our new Kentucky home, and bourbon is a big reason why. Last year alone, this industry provided an incredible 2.55 million tours to Kentucky Bourbon Trail visitors from across the globe. Congratulations. You all know and you see that the Bourbon Trail, that great places to come like Dam Crossing are a huge driver of our surging tourism industry. 2 years ago, I got to stand with many of you in this room and say we had broken our all-time record for the impact of tourism on the Commonwealth. Until last year, when we got to stand together again at Castle and Key and announced that we had broken that record after 1 year. Last year was the best year on record in our history for tourism. What that meant was an impact of $13.8 billion and more than 95,200 jobs that support our families. Bourbon had a huge impact on that because, as you know, bourbon is America's native spirit. And during a time where Kentucky's economy is booming like never before, this industry continues to play a unique dual role in attracting investments while representing Kentucky to much of the world. I think I said this last year and probably the year before. When I was growing up, and you would meet somebody not from the United States, and you'd say, I'm from Kentucky. What would they always say? Kentucky Fried Chicken. But now more and more people are saying bourbon. And what a great introduction of Kentucky to the world with its artistry and complexity, with all the different varieties. What you all do represents us so well. It creates a type of introduction that when I travel abroad, having just been to South Korea and to Japan, people know and want to know more and more and more about the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Bourbon's rise to the very top of the global spirits trade has boosted sales and it has made you ambassadors. That's why it was so important of our work with U.S. Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo to remove harmful bourbon tariffs about 3.5 years ago. That ensures that you all have fair access to some of the world's biggest international markets, and at a time when there are threats and economic policies that are being put out there to bring back tariffs that the United States could potentially put on other countries, we have to know that this industry is again in that place where we need the type of representation. And I plan to step up regardless of who the next president is to make sure that this industry is treated fairly. You have my promise. I will represent you in Washington. Bourbon's success continues to benefit so many Kentucky families, and the momentum shows no sign of slowing. As you all know, we're in the midst of some of the biggest years ever for bourbon. 2022 wasn't just a good year for Kentucky Bourbon and Spirits, it was the very best year in history for growth. In that year, we saw over $2.1 billion of new investments, over $500 million more than the second closest year at that time. 2023 continued that amazing growth, and I'm so proud to welcome so many new members to the KBA in the last couple of years. This last year in February, We came together to announce 2023 saw the bourbon and spirits sector reaching $9 billion in annual impact, more than 23,100 Kentuckians employed, and an annual payroll of $2.2 billion. Just phenomenal, right? Each one of these metrics is a record, and it's a record that breaks a record from the year before. That's the type of growth we want to see all across Kentucky. I think about the last 4.5 years where we have seen more growth together in this industry than in any other period in our history. Since the start of my administration, we've welcomed more than 100 spirits-related new location and expansion projects, totaling about $4.3 billion of new private sector investment and creating more than 1,700 new full-time jobs. Bourbon also helps support and drive Kentucky's agriculture. Distillers here use more than 13.5 million bushels of Kentucky-grown corn every year. I'm proud, as we're here tonight, that in this last year, even up to now this year, we have seen that growth continue. In January, Staghorn opened a new independent distillery in Garrett County, $250 million investment, 60 new full-time jobs. In March, the Spoken Spirits celebrated the grand opening of its new corporate headquarters in Lexington, a $3.2 million project, 16 new jobs. In July, I joined officials and leaders of Eastern Light Distilling to break ground, a $143.7 million investment in Moorhead, creating 50 full-time jobs. Last month, Lieutenant Governor Coleman joined local officials at the Jackson Purchase Distillery to cut the ribbon on its new $10 million rickhouse in Fulton County. And just a few weeks ago, Saga Spirits announcing $92.5 million tourist development project in Woodford County that's created more than 80 new jobs. You continue to help our economic momentum push forward. We continue to have new opportunities out there in the bourbon sector, and it is exciting to be governor during what I think is the golden age of bourbon, where you continue to grow and to grow and to grow. And if I missed it, I apologize, because there are so many bourbon announcements these days that they can be hard to keep track of. Kentucky's economy continues to be on fire, and we have this great industry, the KBA, and people like our Hall of Fame inductees today to thank. I think about Elmer, Lucille Allen, and her incredible contributions. Dee Ford, who I've known for over a decade, and her hard work in this area and across the state. My buddy Ken Lewis, New Riff Distilling, and its impact that it's had on northern Kentucky and bourbon on the whole. The late Peter Lofton. Today is an exciting day, I know, for him to be inducted, but also know it's probably a painful day for his family as well. I know we care about them and stand with them and are really proud they're here today representing their loved one. And of course, Corky Taylor, Henderson, Kentucky, fearless. What a special facility, what a great bourbon. Let's give them all a round of applause. I close out today by saying we are in the midst of something special. You know, people are looking at Kentucky in a different way than they did 4 or 10 years ago. You are a big part of that. You know, we started talking about our new Kentucky home because suddenly we're at the top of all the lists we wanted to be in, whether that's tourism or new business locations. Suddenly we are the first call that companies are making instead of the 4th, 5th, or 6th. We are on a roll, the likes of which we have never seen, and we have to keep it going. And since I've become governor, we've had over 1,000 new location expansion projects, more than $32 billion of private sector investment, by far a record. We've set a record for new jobs, a record for wages, a record for exports, a record for tourism. And while we're doing that, we're seeing positive things happen across our economy and across the experiences of our families. Our goal ought to be to keep this going as long as we can. What we're in is a window of opportunity. You don't know how long that window is going to stay open. So what we've got to do is sprint forward as fast and as hard as we can to get as much of this opportunity here in Kentucky. Because as I'm now looking at a second term and being term limited, We gotta recognize that legacy isn't the letter behind your name or the number of this or that in the state legislature. It's how we leave our families. It's the impact that we make in their daily lives. It's how much more opportunity we leave for our kids and for our grandkids. And right now, that is exactly what we're doing. Attracting good jobs, new jobs, jobs of the future. Making sure our industries are sustainable, which customers are going to require in the future, regardless of the politics. And so I think it's so important in this time, for this industry and the rest, to recognize that success isn't red or blue. It's not Democrat or Republican, and most of the time it's the politics that can trip us up from securing, I think, our rightful role as a leading economy in the United States of America. So this is our special moment, and I hope you will not only help us continue to push forward, but help us continue to make good decisions. Help us continue to tamp down the noise that can sometimes get in the way. I continue to be driven in my public service by my family and my faith that tells me that we're supposed to live that golden rule, that we love our neighbor as ourselves, and the parable of the Good Samaritan that says that everyone is our neighbor. You know, when we live that out, we don't move a state to the right or the left, we just move it forward for everyone. And I think we all want a future where we're not picking a side every single day, where we're safe driving on our interstates or dropping our kids at school, where we can ultimately do good things that lift everyone up, because even if you disagree with your neighbor politically, you want them to do well. And more important than that, you want their kids to do really well. I think there is a better world in front of us, but we have got to keep pushing to get there. This industry makes us proud. You represent us well. In our times of need, you step up and you are incredibly generous. So thank you to all of the members of the Hall of Fame. Thank you to each and every one of the companies that are here, for the employees that you have, for putting food on the table, for caring about this Commonwealth and seeing that there is a future where Kentucky is an economic powerhouse, an economic leader. And thank you for helping us to do the work to get there. God bless.
We know you have to leave because you've got important work of the Commonwealth to do, but give us a ride.
Yes,
right?
I do.
So we have a bottle.
Okay.
This is one of this year's Bardstown collection. These are special single barrels created for the Kentucky Bourbon Festival here.
Thank you
So
very much.
really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll see you next year. Before we introduce our class, we would like everybody to stand real quick for a moment of silence to honor one of our leaders who we lost in the past year, and one day I'm sure we'll see again. Zoeller, famed author, historian, and co-founder of Jefferson Bourbon, passed away in May, just a few short months after he was inducted in this Hall of Fame, along with his son Trey. Chet was 83 years old. Let's pause for a moment of silence to remember Chet. Thank you. And is Trey here today? Is Trey here?
Yep.
Oh, there he is. Trey, our thoughts are with you and your family. Please, if there's anything we can ever do as an industry, anything else, let us know, please. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you. And your dad, we love you. Thank you so much, Trey.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, if you would, our master distillers come to the stage and bring your cut glass drink there with you. We're going to do something special real quick. Come on, Fred. Any of our other master distillers, come on up. All right. Many of y'all may not know this, but today, actually today, is the 70th anniversary of Jimmy Russell's years. He's celebrating, I can't stop it. He is celebrating 70 years at Wild Turkey today. Can you believe that? 70 years. That's most than many of us have been alive. So he couldn't make it here today. They're actually throwing a little party for him down in Lawrenceburg. But we asked his dear friend Fred Noe to come and lead us all in a toast to Jimmy Russell.
Thanks, Eric. Jimmy's a hell of a guy. I mean, had a lot of fun with him. And I took over for Dad's traveling. Jimmy kind of took me under his wing. And he said, no. Because, you know, I saw him just a few weeks ago, and he said, I'll make it a few more weeks, I'll be here 70 years. I said, hell, Jimmy, I ain't been alive 70 years. He said, oh, you'll get there. I said, no, I don't know if I'm going to be working for 70 years. I definitely, when Eric asked if I do the toast, I said, hell yeah, I'll do it. Well, make sure to keep it clean for you, Fred, so you don't have to put any beads on there. Now, Jimmy's been a hell of a friend to my dad, to me, my whole family, actually. And when I was asking a colleague, and what else can you say? I mean, he's a hell of a guy. And so everybody's got your glasses, you know, the cut glass. This is a little bit of Russel's Reserve for Jimmy. Wish he was here with us. He probably said let's have two. One's not enough. But to Jimmy Russel, our dear friend, cheers. Cheers.
It's now time to recognize 5 distinguished individuals who have made a significant and transformational impact on Kentucky bourbon's stature, growth, and awareness, and welcome them to our prestigious Kentucky Bourbon Hall of Fame. If everyone's ready, all right, here we go.